ahead, Grumpy.
Oh, yeah, okay. So then, hello and welcome. Happy New Year. We've made it. We're all still alive in 2021 with the fourth episode of SunStreamer, where we, same as last year, come together with people from the community, streamers mostly, and chat a little bit, have some banter, ask some questions, and get some answers. And today, for the New Year's episode, we got some very, very, very special people here. And I have the honor of introducing to you, first and foremost, Birdman. Hi.
Pog, what's up? Hello, welcome. Wait, you're the one supposed to say welcome. Hello.
Welcome.
Yeah. Yes, we have a Birdman. Also, we have a SunStreamer here with us. If you guys don't know them, you should totally follow them.
Ayo.
Two amazing Borderlands streamers, which creating amazing content. Birdman with Zane, and Sunny with like all kind of characters and generally variety streamer. I'm gonna start with question for you guys. Well, since we're starting, tell me how did your adventure with games started? What was your first video game you can remember? Question to both. You can choose the order of answering.
Well, the one that I can immediately think of just off the bat is Pokemon Red.
Same.
I think it was the first one that I can genuinely say I grinded at and like actually could like comprehend what was going on in the game. Before that, like my parents, like I had like an Atari and stuff like that. My parents had like a PlayStation that they played on when I was a little kid. But like the first one that I was just me playing solo was Pokemon Red. I remember, I mean, just the little pixels and everything on the screen, just somehow my brain comprehended it, and it was so awesome. Charmander main all the day.
I remember it was like the Atari console.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a controller that was actually a gun that you shoot the ducks and you got the dog jumping around.
Oh, Duck Hunt.
Wasn't Duck Hunt? Yeah, I'd say Duck
That's
Hunt.
cool.
Yes, that was the first game, and ever since I just like, oh come on, dude. Oh, Game Boys
Shooters.
came after, and yeah, shooters exactly. Yeah, that was the shooters. The shooter in me started there. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Growing up, I felt like all the like consoles or like games or stuff that had like the extra add-ons and stuff like that, whereas like the Nintendo, like the Power Glove or the Duck Hunt gun, something like that, people just like lost their minds over because they're like, oh my gosh, this is not a controller. This is this is something else. And wait, my game works with it? What? That was just the coolest thing ever.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I remember when I like came home one time and I went to my brother's room and I saw a Spyro figurine on his shelf. I was like, "Oh my god, you play Spyro! I remember this game from my childhood." And there was like this newer game where you had like this tiny pod. You put the figurine on it, and it was in your PC game. And I was like, "Okay, things like that are still being made." It was really cool to see that and like the game continuing. So like if we talk about games, we are here because of Borderlands. No matter in which state is it right now. So tell me guys,
Best date since launch. What are you talking about?
Okay, what got you into the Borderlands series? What was the first game, and how did you start playing Borderlands?
Sun, go ahead.
Okay. It was crazy. I mean, I'm with my ADHD and the hype. I was just hooked. It was the Borderland 1. It was a few years ago. I was actually playing it with my ex-boyfriend. He's also a gamer, and we would just spend weekends over weekends playing only that. Like, it's insane. There was so much going on in the game that I felt it's a perfect match for me with all the ADHD and the hype and the energy, and I can't get enough of it. But the thing is that I cannot go back to the first and the second. I don't see myself going back that, because it's like everything that I was missing on the first and the second, they merge it together to the third. Yeah.
No, I would say for me it was Borderlands 1. I actually got into the game because the intro song is No Rest for the Wicked from Caged Elephant. I'm a huge Caged Elephant fan. So I was like, okay, a video game that has my favorite band in it. Okay, cool. Let's check this out. And then just the wackiness of like the story, I loved the comic book aspect of it. Actually, a couple of my friends are like, I don't like Borderlands because of the way it looks, and I was like, that was something that always drew me in. But the multiple different characters was always something super cool. Just the fact that I was a Mordecai main from the get go. I loved using Bloodwing. So fun fact, my last name is actually Bird. So the Bird character was something that was very enticing to me. And then once I got through Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2 came out, hooked on it, and then into 3 as well. But I will agree with Sun in the aspect of just like the mechanics of Borderlands 3 or something that are far more enticing now to me and make me like kind of not want to go back to those other games.
But since we're on the topic of the other games, and you already like kind of touched on that you played Mordecai before, I would be interested to know like which characters you guys mained in previous titles. So like 1, 2, and TPS if you guys played it.
Yeah, so 1 was Mordecai through and through. 2 was actually a split between like Maya and 0. Maya was my first one, but 0 was probably the one that I like ended on, I would say. His mechanics were just super cool. And I just like the ninja aspect of him. Pre-sequel, I was a Timothy / I played Wilhelm. Wilhelm was the first person I played because I liked the drones, but then Timothy was the one I ended on. And then obviously Borderlands 3, Zane Boyo.
I'm almost 100% agree with you. Like the first one for me was Krang. Like he's fucking crazy. The second one I'll say Maya as well, just like you. I just it was so different for me to see a woman character as like in this aspect, because I used to play Splinter Cell, Call of Duty, and it's mainly men shooters.
Dudes,
It was such a huge, right? It was like a huge difference. I grew up with the brothers, so it was I played whatever they played, and for me it was like finally I got a siren. Holy shit! Like it's a female figure I can shred everything with.
I mean, she's literally a god. Like, I mean,
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
literally.
Got
And
me.
that I'll agree with you on that. That's something I thought was always kind of interesting about the Borderlands series is like female protagonists being so central in the game. I mean, if you look at the end of Borderlands 3, I mean, if you count Claptrap as a dude, he's like the only dude on the bridge. Like, other than that, like, actually, they're all robots. There's like really no like dudes that are like in the forefront. It's all Ava,
That's true.
Tannis. I mean, women-centric characters, which actually that's kind of cool. I think it's neat.
Yeah.
They get it done.
Yeah.
I started as main Amara, continued to Mose, but after I play Zane,
Same
can't.
boyo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to. Go ahead. Sorry,
Well,
I cut
But
you
you
over
know,
there.
sometimes it's really good to just, after playing a lot of Strangers, come back to Moe's and being in there for the ride, right?
And the cub.
Just don't like take your finger off the trigger and throw lots of grenades. See, I love Mose as well. She's probably like my second favorite to Zane, just purely off the fact I love her trees. I think she's a really well-built character, and she's just fun to play.
Agree 100%.
I'll stay loyal to Flak even though it's in such a tough condition right now.
Poor homie.
Just let go. Let
No,
go.
I
It
can't.
won't get better from here.
Change to the other
Let
crit
me
character
hope. Let me hope for
that's
Mose to
Zane.
fix it.
No, just, you know,
Mose has a better pet.
agreed. Yeah, like you're
Just
outnumbered here.
Bullying me here. That's not fair.
No, we still love you. Stop it. This is what I like. I
Bullying
just
live.
said that. No, we just said that. Like what I really like that I did in here. Every person out there can relate to at least one character. They're so different, and I felt like they brought 4 different characters that each of us can enjoy at least one. So yeah, pretty cool.
I'd agree. I think these Vault Hunters are my favorite set just because they're these amalgamations of all the other Vault Hunters like put into one. So you do have that freedom to kind of like play how you want. Zane, I think, is a great example. He's got aspects of Timothy, Wilhelm, Zero in his trees and stuff like that. So I think that's super, super neat. And then Mose has got a lot of Axton, Krieg-esseness to him, and so on and so forth. I mean, they're they're pretty well built characters. If only like all of them had full skill trees, that'd be really nice, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be awesome if Flack had a 4th skill tree? I think it'd be neat. I don't know about you guys.
I mean, I would appreciate a flag and an actual tree.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet
Would
the
be
flag
nice.
nets would too, but until then, Zane all the way, baby.
Zane, well, Zane pretty much only has 2 trees at this point. It's so hard. So like right now, I'm doing that the community challenge for the 1 skill tree, and I feel like I'm constantly locked on blue, period, no matter what. But when I do like a full like build and everything, I'm just like, well, fill out all blue, fill out all purple, and then put like 2 or 3 whatever in a green tree, and that I can't get out of that lock. I feel like I'm kind of stuck at that at this point.
No, but like, what do you think would need to change to make Zane more viable in that sense, so that you could pick more from the trees?
Honestly,
Like
I
that
think
shoulder gun.
I think Zane's at the weakest point he's ever been in. Honestly, I think commitment needs to be unlimited stacks. I think they need to stack more. I'm essentially just saying that to see how many people I can trigger. No, I mean Zane's way too overpowered at this point. Honestly, commitment needs to be fixed. I'm trying to think what else other things people would yell at me for not saying. I mean, commitment. I think Mantis needs a little bit of a timer on per shot. I feel like you're able to spam it too fast. I think there needs to be like at least like a 1.5 seconds. Actually, honestly, like just give him the time period that like Flack has for his rack cast. I mean, make us have to do that. I don't think it would hurt the character at all, honestly. Especially if you're like using like a spy comm or something like that. I mean, you're wanting to just use that last shot, so constantly just rotating that last shot might not be too terrible. But yeah, I mean, Zane's in a broken spot at this point, so it's fun to play as him. But I'm waiting for that patch just to finally.
When is the next one, by the way?
The next
That
patch,
no one
Yeah.
knows.
Gearbox.
No.
Do you
We
want
don't know.
to? Gearbox, would you like to comment?
Yeah, Randy,
Would you
if
like
you
to
listen
speculate?
to us, if you
Gearbox
see
in
us,
chat,
Randy,
rise up.
I'm,
Lurking.
Can we get a gearbox in chat?
we're definitely
can-
gonna have
Can we get a hotfix, please?
in
Anything?
chat. Yes.
A hotfix in chat will do as well.
Fix my menu, please. Every time I click into my menu, I have to like spam the hell out of my escape button because it won't let me out.
Quack
It's so
became our
annoying.
spokesperson for Gearbox right now, and sum it up completely, as I see in the chat, by not saying anything at all.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, hopefully we'll have to get something at one point, because we still have DLC 6 coming, so we will have to
That's
get
true.
some kind
Right.
of fixing.
Yeah.
When
Right.
is that happening though? I think that's a big
love
thing with
to
the community right now. I can speak on is the fact that we just have no information about anything.
Nothing.
Same.
Nothing.
Tell us
And
more.
it's-
Nothing.
And it's I've said this before, their silence is deafening. I mean, and they gave us like the buffs and stuff recently, which was sick. But at the end of the day, we kind of need something more than that. I mean, so I recently did a build with like the Heartbreaker and stuff, and it was awesome seeing that gun buffed and everything. But at the same time, we have some huge quality of life changes that need to be fixed, and I mean, anointments, and like a lot of things just need to be addressed. I mean, some of them are going to be like down the line in
Would
like a
you say
DLC
that
fix.
you need a better communication? I completely agree with you. I would love
I-
to have better
I-
communication with Gearbox. I wish.
I think the biggest issue a lot of people have is, especially when we had them say, okay, we're not going to do the hot fixes every week anymore. People were like, why? And they're like, well, Reddit was
Exactly.
mad. Reddit's mad. And we're like, why are you listening to Reddit?
Like rule number 1 for game dev: never listen to Reddit, and just don't.
It was amazing when every week we had something new coming in. That was pretty cool.
it felt like a cop out, honestly. It felt like a cop out for other reasons. And I mean, if you just don't have anything to release or talk about, we don't care. We would love to just hear like what you're doing every week. I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's like a sense of entitlement there, yet I don't, that we shouldn't have. Yet I feel like I put a lot of time into your game, and I promote your game, and I play it all
Just
the time.
talk to me. You know,
Just
just
talk
talk.
to me.
I'm wondering
Just
that
talk
as
to me.
well. Like, we have
Just talk
so
to
many
me.
amazing content creators who not only grab our community, making something, or like Triple doing his challenges, you guys streaming and like having so many viewers still who want to watch you play. We have community who like discuss all the builds, all the guns, nerfs. We have those builds pinned in the builds channel where people just work hard on making those builds. By the way, just got updated,
Log
so
them.
if you're looking for the new builds, go and check them. And like, why
And
wouldn't
also,
they, like Bert, you were on
Sorry.
the Ultimate Vault Hunter, for example. Why don't they ask, for example, people who actually like do a lot of right now for the game, for like commenting.
what
on
I feel like. The community take a stand and say, okay, Gearbox, you don't want to give us something, let's go and fucking do this. You know,
Well, there is people taking a stand. I mean, right
I
here in
know.
chat, Epic and NG. I big claps to him. He's been working on a Redux mod
Definitely, yeah,
for the mods and
insane.
everything.
I
And
fucking love it. I love it.
well, I think the biggest thing is like he's been having some like pretty consistent like updates on what he's doing, what he's buffing, what he's not buffing.
Communicating. Exactly, he's communicating.
I mean, we have
Plug
a
you, Epic.
big group of
Don't
modders.
record
like, okay, I'll cut it off. Don't worry.
I had a blast trying the
Yeah.
mods. By the way, I enjoyed it so much. Like, whew.
I mean,
Yeah,
we also
I mean-
have. Sorry, we also have like team of Apok, Cody, and
Oh, absolutely.
List and Spur. They did a lot of with the modding as well. They did a lot of work, and I think like modding is one of the things that's actually like raising it all up. So if you tried mods, like Sunny, you tried some mods, right, on your stream. How do you
Yeah.
enjoy them so far?
Oof, wow. So first of all, the fact that I can make all the characters huge. That was amazing. I had so much good, like I couldn't stop. I was just sitting there with this smile the whole stream. That was just amazing. When I was walking in the sanctuary, I only saw legs of characters walking around. The babies got huge, and like, it was just so much fun for me. I tried for the first time. I know for the first time to do the takedowns by myself, and thanks to the mods, I actually achieved that without any certain build or anything. I just used a bunch of very cool mods. That one of them reducing the health and the XP of the characters, and I was just over there in the Guardian and the Melion, woohoo! Just like finish it in one stream. It was just so much fun. Like wow. But again, on the other hand, I understand the people that didn't think it's a good idea. I mean, live and let live, and this is what I really like about this community: the acceptance, the welcoming. No matter what your opinion, we're good.
Yeah, I
Well-
haven't really hopped on the mods yet or anything. Personally, I'm totally huge props to everyone that's working on them right now, but I'm kind of just waiting to see what Gearbox does. I'm more curious of what they're gonna say, what they're gonna do. We still have DLC 6 coming out, so I'm kind of just waiting for that, and then from there we can kind of I'll decide. All right, do we want to do like mod playthrough stuff like that? But again, huge props to everybody who's been working on it. I think that's the thing. Like we keep talking about community being such a big aspect of the game, and I think that really comes around to the mods as well. We have a group of people who are constantly working to make this a lot better for everybody. But at the same time, I'm curious of what Gearbox themselves are going to do to make this game better for me.
There's still chance with the DLC that is coming. So
There's still a chance.
There's
There's still a
We can
chance.
still hope.
There's
There's
a
another.
Fingers
There is
crossed.
another.
No, but the mods idea I think is fantastic. I
Yeah.
personally also watching other people streaming using that, and it's just so much fun. I think it's great that the community is taking a stand and doing something instead of waiting for Gearbox.
Yeah, honest, 100 verbatim. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good idea, and like this is what I appreciate about mods myself. I mean, I'm a pure vanilla player because I don't want to go through the hassle of installing mods.
That's like half my thing too. I'm like, oh, this is such a pain.
but like when you can add like all these things that Gearbox either won't make or does not want or have the resources allocated to, then modders can just do it, and it's like you can have the best of both worlds. You can wait for Gearbox to do hopefully the right thing with future DLCs, future releases, but then you can also fall back on the mods if things don't work out. I mean, that's how we survived in Borderlands 2
That's
for
an
7
option.
years.
Yeah, it's an option.
I will say, I think the difference between Borderlands 2 and 3 is, well, first off, Borderlands 2 had a game coming out after it, and somehow was like still like the top of the food chain. I think if pre-sequel had a different life than it did, it would have been a much bigger game than Borderlands 2, but it just didn't. I think it had a cool story, it had cool characters, stuff like that. But I think the modding, especially with Borderlands 2, happened much down the line in comparison to now. We are starving for content, and the only way that we're really getting that is through the mods.
I agree.
So you think
Completely.
that like the game started to die because why, like why Borderlands 2, if you remember, had hotfixes for a very long time, like couple years even after the release. Then was like a
Yeah, they updated
silence.
it. Mm.
There was just a modding scene going on over. There was like Fight for Century, and then we had Borderlands 3. So why do you think, like, because we all can feel like the community is kind of laying low right now, why was Borderlands 2 so successful for a long time and Borderlands 3 feels like less? It's like what year has passed and people slowly getting bored of it. Why do you think like there is no that much of interest in
I
it?
think that in Borderlands 2, if correct me if I'm wrong, the whole idea of creating the weapons and changing so many things about them. And in here, I feel like in Borderlands 3, that's not the main thing that I'm focusing on. I don't even do that. I'm not changing any parts of any weapons in this game. So I'm concentrating on other things. So I think that how should I put it together into a sentence that will make sense? Um,
That's me every day. Just how can I say words
maybe
that make
maybe
sense?
maybe it got burned out too fast because there's not a lot that you can do, which is again going back to the mods. We're creating the things that we want to see because it's not coming to us. And maybe they put a lot of, again, once a week doing a hot fix. It means that it did so many. Maybe that also one of the things that caused this burnout.
Yeah,
Throwing
I
at
think
us at once, you know? Sorry.
no, you're 100% correct. I think another thing is like the sign of the times is a big thing. We have when Borderlands 2 came out, most people were on console generation. There really wasn't all these like constant updates and stuff to games as much as we get now. Versus now where I mean you got Fortnite, Warzone, Destiny, Apex Legends, all these games that do pretty consistent updates on their games. So there's kind of this like expectation now. Okay, my game is going to be taken care of past its like
And they
60 bucks.
communicate. They
Yeah.
also communicate. I see that in everywhere.
Well, Gearbox was with the times when they were
I
constantly
agree.
communicating and everything. They let's use Cartel as an example. When they were going to take out the Cartel anointments, them
True.
listening to community and keeping it in there was a big thumbs up. But I think there's issues in the game itself that kind of just like slowly started breaking up that bedrock of the community and just kind of upsetting people. I think M2 modifiers being forced upon people was a big mistake. I think it slowly started muddling up gameplay for a lot of people, me especially. I hated sitting there and just re-rolling modifiers. I think
20 minutes, half an hour.
no,
You're just
it's
sitting
one
there waiting.
as a streamer too. When you're obviously a big thing you want to do, you want to keep up attention, keep people engaged and stuff. And sitting there and clicking Q for 20 minutes, re-rolling modifiers is so fucking boring.
Frustrating. Yeah, it's
Like
frustrating.
no
I
one wants
agree.
to watch that. You can be funny and while you do it and stuff, but is that
And to
content?
be
No.
honest, I don't know if the Mayhem 11 is the best solution they can give us for that. To be honest with you,
It's a band-aid,
I
I'd
think
say.
they can do. They could do. I don't know. I just wish they could let us choose in every modifier what are like. Just give us more possibilities of difficulty or more variety. Like I think they could do better than just Mayhem 11, and that's it.
What do you think
Yeah, I
about,
mean,
for
I-
example, paying for the rerolls or choosing them with Iridium? I mean, right now we all have a lot of Iridium on our accounts, but what if this like happened before and we could like from the start choose the modifiers with the Iridium? Then we wouldn't have such a heaps of it collected, and would
Agree.
actually add some kind of like use to Iridium, I guess, as well.
Well, there is no use for Iridium at this point. I mean, it's
True.
a pretty dead currency.
It's true.
I mean, I think that comes around to raid bosses. People want to spend it on that. I would be totally willing to re-spend it on re-rolling anointments, re-rolling modifiers, any of that stuff. Put a use for it. This is like, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I feel like at this point I can say it's not rocket science because I've been able to see what the community, like modding community, has been able to do with like 7 lines of code. So it's obviously
Yeah.
not rocket science.
Yeah, I mean, well, one thing that I also found for myself is that, you know, I was one of those people that found Borderlands 2 when it first went into sale on Steam for like the Game of the Year edition. So I got it for like what, $20 back then. I think it was 2013 or no, but that's long ago, 16 maybe. And then, you know, everything was already out there. Yeah, the Headhunters packs, the DLCs, you just had them, you played them. And by the time I actually like hit a wall and this in like content cleared, I had like my character in OP8 or whatever. I had like 700 hours into the game. Now I have 700 hours in Borderlands 3, but because it doesn't have like these 3 years of content already ready to go, I just do this little bit of content,
Sitting
burn
away.
myself out over it, and then I just be like, I hate this now, and I gonna play something else, and then I don't come back to it until the next DLC.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of people, unfortunately. I mean, if you look at like the numbers of like active players on the game, it had a dramatic drop after Mayhem 2.0, which I feel like should have been like the like red flag, but instead they kind of doubled down on it, and it's poor bet in my opinion. I think a huge overhaul of the game would be necessary while also keeping everything that's in the game intact. Like just change it, make like a different like mode, make TVHM a anointed field mode, make normal mode, non-anointments, non-mayhem scaling, all that stuff. I feel like that'd be a huge change to the game, so you can kind of keep what you put in the game already, while also introducing something that's going to make the game not only feel familiar to Borderlands 2, but also be a lot more appealing to your general player.
Okay, Sunny, I got a question for you. So, what is your secret to be the most positive person in the entire Borderlands community?
I'm not. Honestly, I'm just being who I am. That's all I know. It's funny because I don't see myself the way other people see me. For me, I'm just hanging around, and I have to tell you, this community made 2020 the best year that I ever had in my life, and I'm so grateful for meeting such a wholesome, amazing bunch of human beings. That is just the best thing a person can ask for. Life made me the person that I am, and this community made me the streamer that I am. So
Hug
yeah.
you.
Okay. Well, if you say that 2020 was your best year, so that's quite a popular opinion, considering how.
I know.
I mean, I agree. I had
know.
a fantastic year as well because I made so many good friends. We started this show happening. So, but like, because you started streaming this year, right? If I remember well.
7-8 months ago, yeah.
7, yeah. So
I found Twitch around. Like I'm in Twitch for the same time, playing Borderlands for the same time. Borderlands 3, sorry. It was. I didn't play it until I started streaming.
Yeah, so tell me, how did streaming affected your daily life? Like, how did it affected who you are and how you are and like your life, anything? Or if it affected at all? Yeah, because I'm not suggesting anything.
It definitely, wow. First of all, much more sleepless night because my brain is always thinking about how to improve, what else to do, what else can I do, how to do it, where do I start, how can I, what can I learn? But I'm embracing that. It's if any reason not to sleep at night, that will be the reason. Let's just say that knowing that I'm maybe changing people's day or brighten their day or making them like causing some kind of a distractions from the very challenging everyday thingies that everyone has going through, knowing that I have even the slightest part of this make me want to do this more. And I'm much more motivated and inspired and knowing a lot of people. And I can tell you, I made life friends thanks to this community. People that
Agreed.
I can call, more than family for me. But this community definitely made me the streamer that I am. And I'm in the best time of my life. Like, I didn't even know that streaming will be what I'm meant to do until I start streaming. And I definitely feel like that right now. It's like spending 30 something years about wondering what the hell is your purpose here, and then start streaming and finding it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Please don't cry
pretty
on
fun.
live TV here.
For the VOD.
For the vote, yes.
Do it for the VOD, guys.
Yeah, just clip it.
We need those viewers, please. No. Well, since it's still an interview, I gotta ask questions, right? And I would be kind of interested. Yeah, you know, Bird already touched on it. Kind of like, what's the story behind you two's username, profile picture, identity, more or less? How did you get to where you guys are with your names?
So my last name's actually Bird, so it was pretty easy.
Really?
Yeah.
Bird is the word?
Yeah. So
What?
it's been kind of stuck with me forever. But yeah, so Birdman, just Birdman in general is like always been kind of just like a term, whatever, popular pop culture stuff like that. But like the 778, when I was in high school, me and a couple friends, we were in a Call of Duty clan. I was a teenager in high school and stuff like that. So like obviously we all played Call of Duty all the time. Black Ops 2 was our main game, but we all had 778 at the end of that was our clan tag, and it was actually the area code of one of our friends who I think is in Washington State. That's one of the area codes there, and we just stuck with it since then. It's funny because like me and some of those other people, like they still all have that 778 at the end of their names, and Birdman's also like taken on Twitch, so I had to add the 778 there. LOL.
Is it also the reason why you stand for the New York Excelsior?
Well,
Just to be clear.
NYXL, I'm just a New York fan in general for sports, and so I have family in New York, but like I've always stuck with them in general. I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan. I'm a New York Mets, New York Rangers, New York Jets, and then Excelsior. I love them.
Awesome. And, yeah, Sunny, what about you?
It's going to be a bit of a longer story than this.
Okay.
We still have at least 15 minutes. Hit us.
So I don't know if a lot of people know about the motorcycle accident I had almost 10 years ago. I was disabled for like 2 years, and I wasn't able to move. I was in a wheelchair for a year, and the only thing that I could do is take myself and watching this huge window I had in my living room. And this is the only thing that really connected me to the outside. I couldn't really do anything. So the only thing that actually inspired me was the sun. Every morning, she was up there. No matter what happened to the world, she was always there. And I'm like, holy shit, that's the best inspiration I can have in life to get better, to get back on my feet again. And back home, after I went back on my feet again, which every doctor told me will never happen, and I told them, fuck you, a huge finger right there. I just decided to change my last name to Sun.
Oh.
And it's kind of took me. Everyone knew me like that. So I remember I still have this document before I start streaming of taking all type of usernames that including the sun. And I was like, dude, make it just simple. You're gonna stream the sun. Let's just merge them, and there you go. It was also available. So.
That's the most important part here.
Yeah, I think it's kind of amazing how like both of you are like have like your name linked to you know, your last name somehow. This is kind of a first and a unique. Like, what are the chances that both of our guests have their names somehow based on the last names? That's amazing.
It's easy peasy.
But you know, onto like a more personal questions. This is like one of the questions we saw from the questions that we picked out, which is if you guys had a loot explosion happen when you died, what would it contain? Like, you're like Master Gear at the moment, like you die and it's like poof. What would be in there?
Patch notes,
legendaries.
Only legendary.
hot fixes. No more anointments.
Oh my god. Hmm.
I'm actually gonna stick to that. Yeah, that's gonna.
Yeah, so like some if you die, like people will just visit where you died and they just pick up all the hot fixes in the game
Yeah,
in
I
a better
got
state.
it's insane.
So that's where Randy hit them with magic trick. Good to know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not an easy question.
I feel like for you it'd be like what, butt cheeks? I feel like that.
Probably the most
Yeah.
legendary shiny butt cheeks out there, just like a triple G butt cheeks emote, you know, a pink one, shining one, like
Chrome. Don't forget Chrome.
bro. Totally, yeah.
Okay, guys.
I had to like pick like a gun that would explode though. I think like we had to pick like something from Borderlands specifically.
No, you can choose
can.
whatever you want. Whatever
Literally
drops from
anything?
you.
Oh, yeah,
Literally
well, then, yeah.
anything. Yeah.
Hot fixes.
Wow,
and pep guns.
you will get like a huge shiny, you know, butt
Probably like
Nice.
Pokemon or something.
I
I,
mean,
don't know.
I mean, as long as it's not like, you know, the sun itself that just pops
No,
out.
no,
I
no, no,
think
no.
we're good.
Just
It definitely
eviscerates
will be
everything.
yellow and yeah.
Okay, now it's for some more Borderlands themed questions. What is your favorite weapons manufacturer and why? Yeah, now the hard part I see.
Probably
Yeah, there are no-
Hyperion. Hyperion.
Hyperion. Oh my
through
god,
and
did you
through.
see my jacket? Yes, Hyperion is the best.
I've always loved all their guns and stuff. I love the concept of just like more accuracy and more crit damage. You know, obviously Hyperion's synonymous with Jack himself, so easy peasy.
I will have to say that it's actually changed after the arms race. The Meteor, like
Meteor,
wow,
okay.
dude, give me some legs to those guns. I'm fine.
I said that I think they need to do a Meteor takedown, and it
Ooh.
be like part of something is like they try to. It's almost like Pokemon in a way, and it's like you got to catch all the different guns. Like there's a gun with like arms and legs and stuff like that. Make it some kind of like catch 'em all type thing.
Yeah,
Because I
totally.
feel like they're just so unique, and like we just haven't gotten any like I feel like TDR is like the only manufacturer we haven't gotten just a glimpse of what they are outside of FTDR. I mean, from that people have
Yeah.
said.
And
just-
it's kind
They're
of
just poor. They
exciting.
don't have the money to just appear in the mainline games.
I mean, we have Vladoff in the idea of Moe's. We've had Torg, we've had Hyperion, we've had Malawan, we've had Dahl. Those four are just immediately in your face, like through main story stuff. Who am I forgetting? There's, I mean, you got like
Jacobs.
Jacobs. We've had Jacobs too. Thank you.
They had the DLC, the whole thing, the third one, and we had the story.
Yeah, it's just like what did TDR do wrong? You know?
Yeah, yeah, but as I said, like they're just poor. They make cheap guns.
Maybe they are
They
poor.
they can't afford to be evil yet.
They can't. I'm
Like,
too
maybe-
poor.
Maybe it was
Borderlands
like
4
a.
because-
I think it's maybe a teaser. It's gonna be a teaser.
I mean, like this was basically the lore of TDR until Borderlands 3, right? That they make guns from such a crappy parts that they just explode upon using. That's why whenever you had this gun, it was easier to throw it because it explodes.
It's such a hyped
Yes.
gun, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
That's always been something cool and interesting about them. The reload. I think that's they're the most like slept on manufacturer. I really do think so because they have the most unique stuff surrounding them, yet they're just shit on all the time.
Yeah, like I preached TDR since Borderlands 2. I did like a TDR only playthrough with Axton. I even used the cradle, like TDR all the way. Like you're not a true TDR fanboy if you didn't use the cradle.
Hyperion though. I Borderlands 2. Like the bitch was one of my favorite weapons. Like I went to bunker to get a bitch instead of a sham because it was like a sniper. It was such a good gun. I mean, mixed with a B shield as well. It was solid.
Nothing wrong to like the inferior manufacturers.
Yo.
Okay.
Yo.
Each their own. You like the underdogs. That's okay.
Okay, if we like around the subject of favorite stuff, then I'm gonna ask one more question about that. So, excluding Pandora, what is your favorite planet, or it doesn't have to be planet, moon, or station. What is your favorite planet or place to
Athena.
play at?
Ooh,
Yeah,
Athena. Athenas?
Athena. I think
Athena,
Athena. Yeah.
Athena's.
Athena's, yeah.
Mm.
Dude, like I'll have that like every day. I enjoy this so much. Every time I wanna test weapons, I'm like going there.
It's the easy. I actually had somebody ask me that in stream the other day. It's like, why do I see all the pro streamers go to Athena's to test out stuff? And I'm like, it's such an easy run. Like it's clear and concise. You have 3 like back to back, just like enemy mob situations to go through. Then you got like the bridge. You split it. You get to like get ammo real quick, split it off, go do that, and then you got the boss at the end. It was just such a nice, easy run.
It's fun.
Yeah, I would have to say Promethea and or Planet Ultraviolet. I like Promethea because it gives me that cyberpunk-esque Night City vibe, the neon, big buildings, stuff like the future. I think it's super awesome. But then Planet Ultraviolet, the 80s, just like iridium crushed up like coke was too funny. Like it was a cool planet. Like Gearbox, please, I beg you, if you watch this, just bring back cartels permanently.
Yes.
We're begging you.
Yes.
Yeah, like honestly, I have to agree
Yes.
that like Gearbox really nailed the 80s vibes, and
Oh.
when they did
It was
them,
amazing,
they nailed it. They
yeah.
were like, "Mwah, chef's kiss."
I would say the Ultraviolet run could top Malawong Takedown if they were like, this is if they branded that as a takedown. I would say it's the best takedown. It was so much fun. I like
Yeah.
going to the area. It changes every time. You have to go fight somebody different. It changes up the gameplay loop, and then also you get the very end. I thought Joey was actually a decent boss to fight. Like, wasn't? I mean, he was hard, but he had like
Very.
different minions that you could have in there. That you had to change your gameplay loop depending on them, and him himself was just a fun boss. Like they nailed it, and then they're like,
Yeah.
whoop. It's like it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
I think
Dude,
there's
oh my
hard to
gosh.
find something bad about cards because the music is amazing, location is super awesome, enemies are fun to fight, and guns. I mean, you have the OPQ. OPQ is
All the
my favorite
heating
gun
things.
ever.
OPQ, yes. Give me
it's
OPQ
the best
65,
gun ever.
please.
Yes. So
Please,
I
please.
start to think like they just lock it as timed event only because it's so good. People will just wait whole year to play it, but I don't think this will
Yeah.
like keep community around the game. To be
Yeah.
honest.
Like I'm betting a $5 right now that they just hold it until like the player rate drops to like critically low, and they're like, okay, guys, you can drop it down, and you're like, and bring it back, and suddenly the player numbers go like,
It's not already critically low. Wait, what?
I mean, critically low for them is like double digits. You know,
Man. Well, I was talking earlier about the
it's
numbers.
still
I mean,
triple digits.
if you look
Come
at
on.
Steam, I think Steam player like active players were in like the 20,000s before Mayhem 2.0, and
Mm.
I think last time I checked, I think we're like sub 5,000 active players,
Alright.
at least on Steam. I mean, there's consoles out there as well.
Yeah.
And also, I think also Epic this time around. Although I guess it won't be like more than like 2,000 max.
Yeah, I mean, I think a large chunk of the player base, especially if it's available to you. You had Epic, and then once it went to Steam, I swapped to Steam. I ended up getting it over there.
There's a lot of console players out there. A
There's a
lot.
huge
Much more than I thought, to be honest with you. That are not counted, so you can't really know.
Well, yeah, and I think that's a big thing too. Like people keep talking about like cross-platform with the gaming and stuff. There's
Please,
so many.
come
yeah.
on.
Like Fortnite did it. Fortnite
What are
done it
you
since, like,
waiting for?
3-4
What are you
years
waiting
now.
for? Give it to
Yeah,
me. I want
it's
to play with
doable.
everyone.
It's more than
I know.
doable.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean that comes down to like the companies and stuff. I mean, like
Yeah.
if you look at Fortnite revolving around like Sony after it, I worked at GameStop for a little bit. Like once they did that, and there was so much like Sony Fortnite branded things afterwards. It was almost like they were like, okay, we get all this stuff, and then we'll let you do it. And I think it's the same thing here. I mean, Windows and Microsoft are literally synonymous with one another. So obviously PC, Xbox makes sense. Switch will do their thing whenever they want to do it. But then we really just want Sony, PlayStation to be the last thing there, the last piece of the pie. And we just can't get it right now.
I mean, even if
Mhm.
they will drop it now without any hotfix and anything, oh god, that will make a huge difference for me.
That'd be cool.
Just
Yeah,
drop
like-
it. Just
Ever since I got like the first 3 parts on the Switch, it's been a difference. You know, it's just like sitting down, not like sitting in your chair, but like sitting down on the couch and playing it. It's a difference, a
Yeah.
positive difference. It's a change
Exactly.
for sure.
yeah.
Anyways, on to like the next question. We talked about things we like, also dislike, but this time I want to know from you guys one thing or two things that you guys absolutely hate down to your bone in the whole Borderlands franchise, and I quote, and wanted to shoot it off to space to never see it in the franchise again.
Borderlands Reddit.
Yeah, all
What-
Borderlands and
Just
okay,
entirely
hard
Borderlands
mode.
Reddit.
Hard mode, you're not allowed to say mayhem.
Um.
Is that Eva? Eva? Yeah.
Oh,
It's
come
also-
on. Are you
That's
serious?
also easy mode.
I don't know. It
Some.
just I
I like
just,
her personally. I have took my
I,
chance.
I did liked her until Borderlands 3. I
I just-
did. I
What
had
is-
all the sympathy and
Borderlands 3.
everything,
Okay.
and I'm like,
I should do what they
Yeah.
did last time on the interview. People hating Eva, and then people explaining why Eva is not to be hate. Check. Okay, we got it done.
no, like you know, it's every
I-
person
I'm
on its
also-
own.
I mean, there was recently a link, a leak, for something involving Ava, and people were very upset about it and stuff like that. And I'm like, who cares? She's a character. Like,
Let the character develop, guys.
well, that's the thing. I think that's
We
the
can be patient and wait, okay? But for the current situation, I won't mind having her.
if you compare Ava to the Lilith in the game, Lilith is the far bigger villain to Ava.
Yes.
Because literally she lost her powers and she's just like, well, I'm gonna be a potato for the rest of the game.
But I think that the thing that bugs me the most is that she's a teenager. Maybe
well,
that's the thing.
And you know
that-
what? I can absolutely understand. But at the same time, all four of us on the panel, everyone down here, current pop, some of you could be currently teenagers, stuff like that. We've all been there. We've all been naive and stupid. And
Former teenager.
yeah,
Yeah, obviously. Obviously, I just didn't expect them to really put something like that in the game. Just saying.
They've-
I mean, I don't mind having babies to shoot, okay? But
Whoa.
what?
I mean,
We're talking about the game.
Ava is so normal. She's such a normal,
yeah,
angsty
yeah.
teenager.
Yeah.
What do you expect? I mean, I have younger brother, and when I get pissed at him, I'm like, oh my god, he's like Ava. This is exactly the same thing. That's why people hate Ava. It's exactly the same.
You're a
thing.
true Borderlands player when you start comparing people to characters.
Yes, especially your family.
And it's very hard for me to say hate about something. Like, it's a big word for me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bird, please come in clutch with your brave opinion on what you hate.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Rescue
us. Give us content.
Anointments, honestly. I mean, RNG stacked on RNG, stacked on RNG, and stacked on RNG. It makes it so annoying. Actually, I don't know. I think I'm gonna take that back. I'll keep anointments, but enemies having a dedicated drop. I'm sick of world drop legendaries. I'm sick of it. It's terrible. It's awful. It would make the grind of RNG of getting the weapon, RNG getting the element, RNG getting the parts, RNG of getting the anointment so much better if I knew going to X boss would get me that gun. All the time specifically. I hate going to Grave Ward and seeing the drop of 5 different legendaries. I hate going to a Slaughter Shaft, there being them all there. I think there needs to be that incentive to actually farm one specific person rather than the entirety. I know everyone hates anointments. I mean, no one really enjoys the anointment pool, anything like that, even though they've doubled down on it and huff sound. But I think having that would be a good quality of life change to the game that we do deserve. They nailed it in Borderlands 2, so why change the pie formula, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I can add one thing. Like, if you ask me what will be equal to this, definitely the modifiers. It's one of the things that we talked about it. It's one of the things that wasting my time so much, and it's frustrating to a point where you're sitting there, especially when you're playing like you do in a community stream, playing with other people, and you don't want any one of the characters to get hurt by any modifier. So you need to take so many things under consideration. You're like getting yourself exhausted just by that.
Agree.
yeah. Bert, I have another question for you.
Okay.
What co-op game do you play that you're just absolute worst teammate while playing?
I'm sorry.
I actually don't know what you're talking about in regards to that. I'm a phenomenal co-op teammate. I've never been accused of anything like loot stealing, killing my teammates by accident, murdering people on a ship while doing tasks. Never done that. I think I'm pretty great all around. But if there was a game somebody had to pick, it'd probably be like Risk of Rain or something like that. I see Quag in the chat can maybe attest to that.
I would love you to repeat the question. I didn't catch it on the mic.
I guess him the question that someone asked directly about in what co-op game he's absolutely terrible as teammate. Yeah,
Okay.
so I guess that answer is the certain people that ask that question actually. Sunny, I have a question for you. Have you heard about like the upcoming movie, the Borderlands movie?
I heard about it, but just as a rumor.
No, it's not a rumor. There will be actually a
No,
movie made by Eli Roth, and
okay.
yeah, I want to know if like if you know about this movie, if you have like, any opinions. What do you think about this? It's gonna be a good movie, bad movie?
I honestly, for me, it was like something that I heard and someone typing it on chat in one of my streams.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious mostly to see which actors they will choose, after what game they will follow, the first, the second, the third, a merge of all of them. It's sound like something I will watch.
Yeah, like about actors, there was this rumor that the Kevin Hart will be playing Roland, for example.
Like, I don't know. Kevin Hart seems kind of small for the role of Roland. Like,
Yeah, right?
isn't he like 4 foot
They
tall?
will need, yeah, that will need. they
He's
will
the
need
same
someone.
person in every movie. Like, why would you make stoic, kind of vanilla bean, like Roland, be this bombastic, short, non-military, stocky kind of guy? It doesn't make any sense. If they, but that's just a rumor. That's a rumor they've talked about. But is it a good choice? No, bad casting. Please don't do it.
Yeah, what we're gonna
I
do
would
next-
still see the movie regardless, but
Like,
Yeah.
like it could be good for Kevin Hart if he would play a serious character for once to show the world that he can play serious characters. The same way that how
Rowan Atkinson.
Radcliffe showed the world that he can play something else than a teenage wizard.
Yeah,
true.
Rowan Atkinson had a huge problem that he played Mr. Bean for almost his whole life, and then was a movie where he played a serious character, and everyone waited till he do something very stupid in the movie, like some kind of joke. And no, he was playing like totally serious character. Okay, Bert, one more question for you, because you created some very nice Zane builds, very liked ones. So I have a question. Where do you take inspiration for your builds? Like for your names, are the names of the builds like refer to something more in your builds? How do you come up with them?
And so I do a lot of what let's call thematic builds. So it's based off of a theme itself, and essentially just try to figure out what character will fit said theme best, what weapons will fit said theme best, cosmetically, what can I do? But I mean, pretty much just take inspiration from anything around. I mean, a lot of times it's community kind of suggesting things, popular games, things in our game that can work with that. Big example, I did a Doomslayer Amara build one time, and the two weapons I used for it was the Hellwalker and the Ripper. Both of these like bloody kind of Doom. I mean, one is a Doom reference, and then the Ripper works pretty well with the theme as well. Just trying to find anything that will kind of like be fun and exciting. Recently, though, I've been going for more of those mid-maxed end game true kind of builds. But I'm working on have finished a Mandalorian Zane build that uses the Beskar shield. Beskar being the metal is synonymous with the Mandalorians. I mean, the red text itself says this is the way, it's from the show. So try to do stuff like that is
Nice.
fun, people will like, but also make an attempt to make it a viable build.
All right, and I've asked a lot of like favorite and non-favorite questions, and I'll continue in that fashion. Why not? We're not changing the system, guys. Now, one question that was also like asked a lot was like, what are you guys' least favorite wall hunters across the series? Like, what is out there that you don't like?
Black.
Yeah, agreed.
You don't like black?
What? I mean, what?
It's not personal.
Flat bad.
Tried.
For me, it'd probably be. I mean, it's a mix between like probably just Brick. I mean, I've been able to kind of figure out most of the characters, what to do with them, how to make them viable in a certain way. And Brick has always been the one I'm just like, rocket launchers aren't super viable in Borderlands 1. And that was like his spiel. So I'd probably say Brick, but if I had to like really go down deep into it, I'd say Amara. I really don't like Amara. She kind of sucks. First off, I think she is way too dependent on an action skill, Ties That Bind. People put out builds and stuff like that, being like, "Oh my god, the best Amara build ever," and it's literally just Ties That Bind, boop, done. Everyone dies. It's like, okay, well, yeah, we know that's gonna happen, but what makes it the best? Oh, Ties That Bind. Okay. You take out. I mean, I've learned this from Quag, especially. I mean, so Paul Quag in chat. All these other characters have these great damage formulas, reasons that make their character stronger. And there's Amara who doesn't have any of that and is just pretty much basing off of it again, just elements and Ties That Bind. It's just boring. She bores me. I never really enjoyed her. And also the fact, I mean, she's supposed to be this melee-esque character, and that seems to be her one-trick pony at times.
Okay, Sunny, question for you. If you were to be employed by one manufacturer and work there as whoever you want to work in current time of Borderlands 3, so we like don't like go back to other games, who do you want to be employed as, and as who?
I'm gonna have to think about that.
Okay.
Repeat the question one more time.
You go first.
Okay.
Repeat the question.
So, if you were be employed by one of the manufacturer, you can take whatever work you want. You can be CEO, you can be gun manufacturer, whatever. But you get to be employed there as whoever you want. So, who do you want to be your employee, and why?
Shit.
Right? What the hell?
I'd pick Ashen, man. I'd pick Ashen. I would want to just like, I'm making shields. I'm making things that are making people healthy. I'm helping you out. There's no animosity towards me. People, see, that's the thing. You got the gun manufacturers. They're all fighting each other. And then you got like the shield people like Pang and Ashen. So I'd probably say either of those two. Just because you're like, okay, smaller market. People don't want to murder me as much. And I can just vibe out and watch everyone else just off each other.
I'm gonna have to agree 100% on that one. I prefer to protect and stuff instead of just let's find a new way to kill everyone.
If I had to pick like an actual gun manufacturer, I'd probably pick Malawan though, because I feel like they've kind of got the whole package, you know. In the elements is something that anytime you're playing Borderlands, you're wanting an elemental weapon. And I kind of just like the like futuristic vibe to them, especially like the Centaurians and whatever they're called. Yeah, like how the Valkyries are. I like those. Those guys are cool. I wish we had more of those enemies throughout the game. I feel like we get like 5 total ones throughout the main story, and they're all like huge pushovers. Like, okay, cool. I'm gonna pull out this corrosive weapon. You're dead. Oh, okay, neat. It was really fun fighting you. And they got like the death spheres. I think are super neat. I got caught calling them servitors the other day, so you can see the destiny man in me.
I don't blame you one bit for it. Yeah, you know, like I would also imagine that like Tia would be kind of nice because he kind of under the radar the whole time.
Just
You
want
can
to
do
live
your
in the
thing
duplex,
and
don't
research
you?
and development, new cheap weapons that hopefully don't explode this time.
You could be kind of like sitting back and like no one's like taking you seriously, so you can just like hatch people. That's what I'm saying. Like, what if like this big war that they keep hinting that we're eventually going to do, and all the Vault Hunters are going to come together? Tedior is the villain. What if?
Because no one paid them any mind and they just did their thing.
It's kind of like if you've seen Rise of Skywalker, like Emperor out in like the Outer Rim creating this. It's like they're creating this just armada of just
That's interesting.
poorly built guns.
And meanwhile, they're like HQ is like Hal's moving castle from this one movie.
Oh, that'd be so neat. Don't.
And
Oh
Yeah,
my
like,
God,
they
that'd
don't
be
have the money to
neat.
just get a whole planet, so they just have like a
And
huge castle made out of scrap that just walks the
No,
land.
it's a planet. It's a planet. It's like swimming through the space.
Oh yeah.
at the end of the day, when everyone's starting arms race, the first thing is like, "Give me my theater, motherfucker! My theater!"
Imagine if the enemies were throwing doing TDR Chuck. That's my biggest fear. Seeing one bullet and Chuck and one bullet Chuck, one bullet Chuck. Just
Like, where do you run? You can't jump anymore running from there.
I surrender. Bye.
Bye. Rip.
Well, one more question though. This is also one of the ones that we picked up from the channel for this one. Your opinions on whether or not it would ruin the Borderlands franchise if Gearbox pulled another pre-sequel on 3. Like, I know we kind of got like the pre-sequel for 3 with the Commander Lilith DLC to get like the story that led up to it, but what do you guys think would happen if Gearbox were to release another pre-sequel, like a
I haven't
pre-sequel?
played the pre-sequel, so I'm gonna be neutral on this.
Shame on you.
I know.
You should.
I would dare to say they have pretty much already done that, if we're being real. I think, unfortunately, I think they've lost a lot of the player base with just poor choices and kind of wanting to go their own way versus listening to not only the community, their content creation team. I know a lot of them have complained and talked and asked for changes to do things, and they was like, well, we'll see. I think that stuff is what's hurt them the most. But at the same time, like, I'm gonna come back to the game. If they tomorrow they're like Borderlands 4 is coming out, I'll be buying the collector's edition. Like, I'll do it. I love the game, and I think people will come back around. I think you just won't get those immediate pre-orders. You won't have like huge day one sales. People are gonna want to see what the game does. They're gonna want to see the end game content. A lot of people might not buy it until like a year into the game because they're like, what's the community like? What changes have they implemented? I think that's the biggest thing. I think comparing it to the pre-sequel, I think pre-sequel is a really weird scenario, just purely based off the fact that company went down, stuff like that. But for the most part, I still have that glimmer of faith for Borderlands 3. I think they can do it. I just hope that changes will be implemented in year 2.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for the interview. We're gonna slowly wrap up. I want to use this moment to tell you all guys that we have a very special day today because January 2nd is our server anniversary, and this is a 5th year. So I want to thank I want to thank everyone who were here like forever. And those who joined later, we're live here for 5 years. Even if our game was dead before, it raised back with Borderlands 3 and now is dying again. We're still here, still hanging around. And yes, happy birthday, Lazy Data, because it's probably his birthday today as well.
Happy birthday, Lazy.
As always.
Happy birthday.
Of course. So yeah, I'm so happy to have you all here, guys. And thank you, Bird and Sunny, for joining us.
Thank
Do you
you,
want
guys.
to add
Thank you for having
something? Any shout-outs? Any thanks to anyone? That's
Or
your moment.
like tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah.
Son, you go first.
Where you can find me? Ooh, everywhere.
Oh, just look hard enough. Just look up in the sky during the daytime.
Yeah, like Twitter, Instagram, Discord. I just want to say thank you to the Borderline community for really, really helping me so much in 2020. And I cannot wait for 2021 because, like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to this year to see what the community will bring and what the Gearbox will bring us. And thank you guys for just being there.
Yeah, I say pretty much the same thing. I mean, huge shout out to the community themselves. I mean, by the way, you can find me on everything. Byrdman778, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Specific people I'd like to always thank is huge ones. Quag. I mean, he's homie, constantly working on the game, doing big things in the server itself. So thanks to him, and people like Chally, Moxie, all those homies have just been there by my side every single time. My mods, huge thanks to them. I feel like I'm accepting an award almost. Jeez. Also, I just wanted to say, like, if this is like the 5-year anniversary, why'd you have me on the show? Like, could have someone much cooler on
We
here.
have the most cool people I could found, so yeah, I wanted to have you guys
That's
here
an answer for you.
you guys are
Hey, you know what?
keeping-
I'm cool with that. That works
Yeah.
for me.
Same.
Just
No.
accept it.
And thank
My
you guys
God.
for putting on this show. We honestly, I gotta say, it's nice. Again, I mentioned people with mods taking the initiative in the community and stuff like that. Huge shout out to you guys for doing the same thing.
It's refreshing.
Adding just more content for the game. I mean, more talk, stuff like that.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys.
More content. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Content. What?
Content.
What everyone wants it. Okay, for anyone who missed it or just tuned in too late, we're gonna shortly upload the video on our YouTube. We're gonna send link in the server news on our Twitter. You can also follow where we are putting all the updates on the server, on our interviews and everything. So thank you